Ready, David? Let's go on the record. This is 2021 CR 1916, the state of Texas versus Christian Ramirez. Attorneys, please make your announcements for the record.
Christine McDonald for the defendant.
I'm sorry, I was muted. Gretchen Plater for the state.
Mr. Ramirez is here in person. Go ahead and tell me your full name, please. Okay. Mr. Ramirez, we are here for the results of the PSI as well as the TAP evaluation. You can have a seat. An open plea, so there's no plea bargain agreement as to punishment. State, do you have any witnesses in opposition of the application for deferred?
I do, Judge.
Go ahead, call your first witness.
Call Trooper Garza.
Where is Trooper Garza?
It said Jeremiah's iPad.
Oh, okay, there you are. Go ahead and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this cause shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
do.
Go ahead, state. Diego.
Would you introduce yourself to the judge?
My name is Trooper Jeremiah Garza. I'm with the Texas Department of Public Safety. I'm with the Texas Anti-Gang Task Force here in San Antonio, Texas. I've been a trooper 9.5 years.
How long have you been with DPS?
9.5 years. Well, counting the academy, starting the academy, it's a solid 10.
And where are you stationed? Where is your assignment?
San Antonio, Texas. I'm here at the TAG office. Assigned to the Texas Anti-Gang Task Force.
Okay. I want to talk to you specifically about an incident that occurred on December 1st, 2020. Do you recall that date?
Yes, ma'am.
And what were you doing?
I believe I was on routine patrol in Bexar County.
While you were on routine patrol, did you see something that caught your attention?
Yes, ma'am. I believe it was at that Shell station right there on 410 and 90. Right there, there's a little Shell station there. And as I was parked at the pump, a car drove right on the access road and drove on the sidewalk. His right two tires, the right passenger front and back. He went up on the sidewalk and then came back off.
And what did you think when you saw that?
The vehicle and the rate of the speed, that was very, very odd because there was no need for him to do that. It wasn't like he was avoiding any traffic or someone that was there. It was very, very light, and he just went over there and did it. At the time, I didn't know it was a male subject.
When you saw that, what did you decide to do?
Actually, at that moment, I got onto the access road in an attempt to catch up to run the license plate and initiate a traffic stop.
Then what happened?
So before I could actually run the license plate, I got up on him, turned on my lights, and he started taking off. From the best of my recollection, he was on the access road, and then he got onto 90 West, if I'm not mistaken.
And you said he took off?
Yeah, he accelerated his speed, disregarding my my lights, and I believe I had my siren on at different times.
And did the chase proceed from there?
Yes, ma'am. Do you want me to go through the whole chase?
I just want you to give a little summary for the judge of the speeds and the individuals that were endangered by that chase.
Yes, ma'am. We got on the I-10, 90 westbound, the main lanes of 90. We increased his speeds. Speeds got into the hundreds. He hit the improved shoulder, then onto the access road. Then he came back on multiple times. His speed was faster than mine. I had to play catch up in an attempt to, and what ended up actually allowing me to catch up is there's a turnaround on 90 and 1604. And when he did it, his speed was so great that he struck the it's a guardrail, but it's the end of the guardrail, and he strikes the guardrail, and I come up right there behind him, at which point I figured the chase is going to be over. He reverses and goes. We go on the access, we turn around on the turnaround and then head back 90 eastbound back into town, away from 1604. He's accelerating his speed. He's all over the road. He gets 90. I want to believe he got over 100 prior to that. I want to say he did it again as we were going through. I can't remember. I just remember his speed was reduced because of the crash, the first crash. And then we get on to 410. From 410, he's in and out of traffic all over the road. He's pulling away from me. I saw that he exited Bandera Road. Then he goes outside the loop of 410. I believe that's westbound. Then he goes to Grissom. When he did, I do remember that when he cut to Grissom, he did it in a way that was very, very unsafe. The whole pursuit was very, very unsafe. There's a lack of concern for the motoring public at all. He was trying to get away the best that he could.
This is a narrative, Judge. I have an objection.
This is sentencing. Overruled.
You may proceed.
Yes, ma'am. Then on Grissom Road, he's going later on. I find out in that where he wanted to make the turn at that intersection where he overshoots it because of the damage of the vehicle that sustained. He wanted to go see to his mom's house later on. I found out, but he overshoots it and he hits the curb on the wrong side of the road. So it would be, I'd have to look at the map. I want to say that would be eastbound on Grissom or southbound. I can't remember. And he hits the curb, and then I pull up my vehicle to the side to do a felony stop. I want to say I remember going to open my door to conduct this, and that's whenever he reverses and strikes my vehicle, and he turns slightly into my vehicle. And after he does this, he accelerates on the wrong side of the road of Grissom, and I pull up side by side, and I use my vehicle as a tool. At that point that he struck my vehicle, 100%, I was in fear of my life. That's something, we as a police officer, we take our jobs, seriously, and every day could be, the worst. But in that situation, the fact that he was so adamant about getting away and doing all that, I didn't know if he's going to go to that realm of hitting into me. Would he do it to someone else just to get away? There was just a total disregard for anybody's safety at that point.
And what time of day was this? It
was during the day. I believe it was around noontime, somewhere around there. I'd have to look exact time.
Okay. And is your car equipped with a recording device?
Yes, ma'am.
And we've looked at that video together before, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And it's an accurate recording of what occurred during that chase and crash and ag assault, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, state would offer State's Exhibit 2, the video that Luis brought down to the courtroom earlier today.
Any objections? Have you tendered that to the defense?
Yes.
States 2 is admitted.
You and I have discussed this case on multiple occasions, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And we talked about the possible punishments for this defendant, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And it's your position that the defendant should receive prison time, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell the judge why that's what you think?
I've been in many pursuits in my time. To my best recollection, no one's ever struck my vehicle. I've been in pursuits in multiple counties. No one's ever struck my vehicle before. The fact that he did it shows the intent. When asked later on, the intent and just the lack of respect, the lack of caring of anything. There's a lack of remorse. He just did it. And when I asked him about it later on camera, he stated, I wanted to end the cat and mouse game. To me, that's very telling of that type of person. He was in my car. We're on the way back. He didn't care about the pursuit. He didn't care about anything. It was just there's no words that I can really describe. He just didn't care. He didn't care about anything. I asked him why he drove on the shoulder, and he goes, well, how would you feel if you, what was it? How would you feel if you just stole a car? That's what he told me. Talking like it's going to pick up some groceries at the store. There's just a total lack of remorse. There's no sympathy at all for what happened, striking a vehicle, driving on the wrong side of the road. Yeah.
Okay. Judge, I would ask that you watch that video before you decide what the defendant's sentence should be. It's a Very scary video. And so I would ask that you watch that. Sir, is there anything else that you would like to tell the judge or for the judge to know?
That area specifically, I grew up in that area. My aunt went to that school right past where he went. And as a kid, I mean, I could only imagine what that would have been like if, you know, I've been traveling through that area myself, or family members in general. I have family that live in that area, and the total lack of disregard for the motoring public outside of me. You know, if you take me out of the equation, if you watch the video in and out of traffic, swerving in and out, people driving up and down Bandera Road, riding on their bikes and whatnot, walking, that could have been a terrible situation. And to allow a person to go unpunished to an extent like that, I mean, that's, you know, it is, I think that it's it's a very rough pursuit.
I pass the witness, Judge.
Any questions of this witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Trooper Garza.
Hi, how you doing?
My name is Christine McDonald, and I just have a few questions for you. To begin, had you ever met my client before that day?
No, ma'am.
So you're not familiar with his childhood,
No, ma'am.
and you're not familiar with any medical issues he's had growing up?
He did state some things. I can't remember exactly what. I can't remember if it was bipolar or what. He gave me a brief history of not in great detail.
Trooper Garza, do you know anyone, maybe a friend or a loved one, who has suffered from substance abuse or addiction?
Yes, ma'am.
And would you agree with me that someone who is suffering through that has an illness?
Someone suffering from addiction has? Oh, yes,
Yes.
yes, 100%. Yes, ma'am.
It's been recognized as an illness today, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and people who are suffering through addiction aren't always in the right state of mind, are they?
Correct.
And do you believe in rehabilitation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and do you believe that there are treatment facilities that can help address people who have these addiction issues?
Not to the point where it's referring to the cost of human life. No, ma'am. I do not. I don't believe they have to be there.
Was anyone injured that day, Trooper Garza?
The lack of human remorse of possibly causing injuries is what I'm referring to. No one actually getting injured. No, thank God that no one was. That's a great thing. But rehabilitation centers is for the illness, from my understanding, that they don't have rehabilitation centers that will give a person remorse or not try to potentially put other people in harm to that extent.
Are you familiar with how substance abuse affects criminal thinking?
To an extent. I'm not an expert. No, ma'am. By no means.
Do you know what moral recognition therapy is?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Were you aware that that's something that could be offered to my client if he were to receive deferred adjudication?
No, ma'am, I did not.
And did you know that that type of therapy specifically addresses people who have trouble with criminal thinking and is used to address on how to deal with those issues?
Okay, I don't, in my personal opinion, that if you're asking my opinion, or what's the exact, do I know?
I was asking if you were aware of that type of therapy.
No, I do not. I did not know that.
And going back to my question, and I'm not trying to negate any of these facts, but no one was injured that day, correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and you were able to drive your vehicle after that incident occurred, weren't you?
No, if I'm not mistaken, I had to draw. Yeah, you know what? You're right. I did. I was able to drive it, but I limped it away, and then I ended up getting it repaired.
Okay, so there was some injuries, but it was drivable. Fair enough?
Correct.
Okay, and you actually took my client to his mother's house to drop off his luggage after that?
Yes, ma'am.
And he sat in the front seat of your vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
And during that time, did he ever tell you about any losses that he had recently experienced?
I remember he was talking about how he wanted to see his daughter. And if I'm not mistaken, is that what you're referring to? He wanted to see his daughter and Comcast. I can't remember where he wanted to go. And then no one would take him to go see his daughter. So that's whenever he was at the gas station, I believe on Marbach. And then he saw the guy get out of the car and then he jumped into into the vehicle.
Were you injured that day?
No, ma'am.
And since that day, have you spoken to my client?
No, ma'am. He sent a letter, I believe.
Okay, he did. So you did receive his letter.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and do you have any idea what he's doing now?
No, ma'am, I do not.
I'll pass the witness, Judge.
Okay,
No
any
more
other
questions,
questions?
Judge. No, Judge.
Okay, thank you. Is the witness excused?
No, well, no, because he wants to do a victim impact statement as well.
I understand. All right, no problem. Okay, any other witnesses state?
None from the state.
Ms. McDonald, call your first witness, please.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to call Jennifer Miyaga.
Okay.
And Judge, just to make sure that this goes smoothly, I've emailed the state some photographs that I intend to introduce into evidence. Would you like me to approach the Elmo or is my email?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this call shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead. You may proceed, Ms. McDonald.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Miyaga, can you please state your full name for the record?
Jennifer Len Miave.
And how are you currently employed?
I work for Methodist Stone Oak Hospital. I'm an occupational therapist there. I've been doing that for about 10 years. And I'm currently going to school at UIW for management and leadership with diversity.
And what are your duties as an occupational therapist?
I'm all around the hospital. I'm in ICU, I'm in neuro ICU, wherever they send me. And I try to get up my patients that are suffering from strokes, heart attacks, brain injuries, accidents, drug addictions. These young people end up in our ICU. And we just try to get them rehabilitated, get them up and at them so that they can get home and be safe and learn strategies that they have to relearn since sometimes they lose those abilities to do so.
And what is your relationship to Christian?
He's my son.
Okay. Can you tell me about any medical issues that my client had when you first gave birth to him?
Yes. When Christian was born, everything was supposed to be normal. On the day I had him, they didn't let me see him, and there were some complications going on. And from there, they took him away to assess him, and he ended up having a cleft palate and parabon syndrome. And the cleft palate is when your mouth is underdeveloped, your mouth is too big for what you have, and you have trouble breathing, also feeding, which that was very hard for me. He started to choke a lot. So they had to put a G tube in as well. And eventually they had to put a tracheotomy in him, which he had for quite a while. I also had a nurse because I was young myself. And without my parents, I probably wouldn't have been able to do it all. I was 17, going to be 18. And I had a nurse that would go Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. And she would help me to care for him and teach me strategies because there were times that his trach would come out or his G tube, and I'd have to be trained to put it back in. He was in and out of surgeries because some of them failed and some of them worked. They had taken some cartilage from his ears to put up on the palate up on top, and that came apart when I brought him home. So I had to go in there and cut it with scissors to bring the flap off and take him to the ER again. He had a G-tube, and another time I took him to the ER because he started to bleed out of his mouth and out of the tube. And it's because they had accidentally put an adult G-tube in him, and he was only a baby. So that caused a lot of scar tissue in his tummy. And all the surgeries and all the failed ones and all the in and outs caused a lot of scar tissue in his mouth. He took it from his stomach too, as well, since the cartilage from his ears failed. They had to take it from his fat, like in your abdomen. So they put that on top there, and it was supposed to grow all the way, but it didn't. So it leaves a little tiny hole in there. And as you grow and you develop, and we grow as adults, your whole body is moving. So you have speech impediments, which he dealt with all his life. Yeah. So it's been a lot of in and out. I've lost count on all the surgeries.
Okay, I'm going to show you some photographs. You just bear with me.
Judge, I can't hear Ms. McDonald very well.
If you want it on the record, you have to carry the mic with you, Christine.
Okay, I have it, Judge. I'll keep it close. Can you show me again? Okay, I've marked these as defense exhibit 1 through 4. I'm just gonna,
State has no objections.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd ask for defense exhibit 1 through 4 to be entered into evidence.
So
State has no objections.
admitted.
Can you tell me what we're seeing in this photograph right here?
That's me still in Driscoll Children's Hospital in Corpus Christi, and they moved me to an area where I can learn to take care of him.
Okay. And I guess, and this photograph?
Still in ICE, we moved from NICU and we went onto the floors, and he still was not able to come home. So we lived there for quite a few months at a time.
And is this an example of how he was treated as a child?
Yes.
And can you please, was this after one of his surgeries as well?
Yeah. He had a lot of surgeries growing up. I think the last one he's had when he was 17, I think. We're supposed to go back. This is after one of the surgeries, so his mouth is still a little swollen. This is memory lane. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
I know this must be really difficult.
It's just
talk about.
memories.
And I know that you mentioned that he had several surgeries growing up. Can
More
you
than that.
approximate about how
I
many?
lost count after 15.
Okay.
I mean, it's just always in and out. Even the little minor things, they had to go and get them all wonky, and I would have to walk them out. All delirious from it, what they did.
And how did those surgeries and medical complications affect Christian growing up?
Even till today, he's gotten a lot better dealing with it. When he was younger, there used to be a lot of kids that would make fun of him and ask him, why do you talk like that? And he had to just keep on explaining. And I always just told him, slow down when you talk so they can understand you. I think even when he was here at the facilities, they took him for an evaluation. And even the officer said, sir, what's wrong? You know how to talk? But he had to explain to him that he had these surgeries. It's just people that do not know what it is and how it affects these people who have it. They assume instead of,
Okay.
not knowing.
And throughout these surgeries during his life, what type of medication was he put on?
Pain
to help?
relievers. There were so many, and I was young myself. At that time, I really didn't know all of them. because there was stuff for the scar tissue, for his eating, just a whole lot.
But he was introduced to pain medication at a very young age.
Yeah,
And that was to help cope with the pain that he
with
was
the
going
pain
through.
from the surgeries.
Okay.
I can't recall like what, but yes.
And did this affect Christian's ability to graduate high school?
It delayed him, but let me tell you this little boy had a lot of, he didn't let it, he was delayed and he went to Cesar Chavez and he said, I gotta go I don't want my GED, I'm gonna go get my diploma. And at 20 something years old, he went and got that. So he never gave up on that and he did it.
Okay, Ms. Miave, I'm going to show you another photograph. Okay. Can you please describe for the court what this shows?
That's Christian walking the stage. That's what he wanted to do at 20, 21, I think, or something like that.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to admit Defense Exhibit 5 into evidence.
Any objections? Okay, any objections? Sorry, state any objections?
Oh, I'm sorry, somebody muted me. No objections.
State, Defense 5 is admitted.
Ms. Miave, what was it like to see Christian achieve this after all of his struggles throughout his childhood?
I just saw motivation and determination, and he just didn't give up. And he knew even that walking that stage at that age, not a lot of people will do that. They're either going to drop out or they're going to get their GED. But no, he was very adamant and he did it without embarrassment.
And now, I guess I should have stayed up there. Has Christian ever taken the opportunity to speak to people or children who are suffering from the same medical complications as he did growing up?
So Christian, since he was one of the oldest, he saw Dr. Hopkins. He's one of the pronounced cleft palate surgeon in Corpus Christi because his other surgeons, they failed him. So he had to go in and kind of fix what he could. And he has these cleft palate events at the aquarium there. And I told Christian, Dr. Hopkins would like you to go to, to this cleft palate event. There's going to be a lot of young kids who went through what you did. And he was like, oh, okay, let's go. So
I'm showing you what's been marked as Defense Exhibit 1. Can you please tell the court what this is?
that's Christian with kids there, and he's interacting with them.
Sorry, Judge, that's Defense Exhibit 6.
Yes, I got that.
Please continue.
State has no objections.
And I'm also showing you what's been marked as Defense Exhibit. Is this the same event?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm sorry, I interrupted you before. Can you please elaborate on what that event was?
Yeah, a lot of kids that are suffering from cleft palate, whether it's outside of your mouth or inside of your mouth, and Dr. Hopkins has worked with them. He does these events to show them a good time away from surgeries, away from the medications, away from the hospital. And Christian actually, Channel 3, RKIII there was there, and they wanted to interview Christian, but Christian said, he was just embarrassed because of his speech and he didn't do it. But he really just talked to all the kids, don't worry about what anybody says as you're growing up. You're going to be strong and you're going to get through this. Just motivating them and knowing that don't let anybody get you down, because everybody's going to try to knock you down, but you have to keep on walking.
And I know, when did you first notice that Christian might have a drug problem?
Actually, for me, it was really hard to see. I just noticed changes of behavior, maybe at around, we lost my mom in 2015.
Mhm.
And we all went through some things, and that's when I started really noticing it. My mom, it was unexpected, and she was our rock. You know, it was just me and my sister and our kids and my dad. And
Did Christian grow up living in their household with you?
we all lived with him.
So he was very close to his grandparents.
While I was being young and dumb and growing up myself, they were there taking care of him, the honest truth.
Okay. And once you maybe started suspecting, what did you try to do to help him?
Well, at that time, I probably didn't address it like I should have. I just kept on answering, questioning him and trying to be strict and watching what he would do. And I really didn't see it as bad.
What other losses did Christian experience last year, which may have led to
Well,
this?
we lost my dad last year in November. We lost mom November the 20th, and we lost dad November the 6th. And but my dad prepared us a lot more, I guess, because he knew that we couldn't take anymore. So we were a little stronger. But not a few days after that is when all this stuff happened.
Okay. What was Christian's relationship like with his grandparents?
Camping trips. My dad and him and my nephew Elijah, they were inseparable. I mean, us three girls would go on our camping trips and the guys would go to their camping trips. It's something that we did all the time, everywhere. The KOA parks, Gardner. It was our thing. When my dad got sick, Christian would take care of him a lot too and help him with his insulin and stuff when his eyes got a little harder, and watch him.
And was Christian's father actively involved when he was growing up?
In and out. He probably wasn't there for maybe one of his surgeries.
Would you say that Christian viewed his grandfather as
Oh, definitely.
the father
My
figure?
dad and my mom while I was growing up, they were his parents. I mean, I was his mother, but they were they were there.
And that same month that his grandfather passed, Christian suffered another loss, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a friend that hung himself. He went over the apartment thing and hung himself. So,
And that occurred close in time to the passing of his grandfather.
right.
And at that point, were you looking for options on how to help him?
Oh, yeah. And I found San Antonio Recovery, and I'm going to tell you this, that I've actually referred patients that I've seen now in this hospital to them.
So based on your own employment, you knew where to turn when Christian needed help.
Right.
And do you remember when he first went to, when was he admitted into San Antonio Recovery Center?
I took him the weekend after we buried my dad.
How long did Christian receive services through San Antonio Recovery Center?
Well, you're talking about with my,
The most recent time.
yeah,
After his arrest.
he didn't I dropped him off and he didn't last. He was withdrawing and he left, walking.
Yes, that's the first time. I'm talking about after the arrest, once he went into San Antonio.
Oh,
Recovery,
this recent.
how long was he in treatment?
Oh, he went in there and he did a few weeks there, and then he went to outpatient. He did that every day. I was dropping him off. He's been doing a lot of rehab, and he's definitely not the Christian let's just say this, I can go to sleep at night and not worry about that phone saying the worst.
So you do notice that a different Christian. from
Oh,
where he
he's
was
not
last
the
year.
same person he was a year. No, not at all.
Just so you know, Ms. Miyagi, there's a they're recording, so we need to make sure not to
Yes.
talk over each other, okay? Besides completing treatment through San Antonio, what else has Christian been doing while on bond?
He's been preparing for school. He actually got something through the Texas Workforce Commission, and they were actually want to help him with some money towards school, but he had to go through this first. My job also has a scholarship fund, and at the age of 26, this is the last year he can get that. So we're just waiting to see what happens here, so that way he can go to school, because he has aspirations of taking care of everybody. What he went through, he doesn't want anybody else to go through. And he had to fall in order to stand. And maybe we look at things like we see it all the time. People don't learn, but there are those who do. And I'm lucky that I have that. So he has a lot of opportunity and he wants it.
Okay, and do you know what he plans to pursue in college?
He wants to go into counseling or psychology.
And would that grant or program that you mentioned through your work help him on that path?
Yeah, it'll give him some funds towards that, plus what the Texas Workforce has offered.
Can you be a little specific on what steps he's taken to enter into that program?
Yeah, he's already spoken with for the LLC, I guess, license. I think that's what it's called. I may be wrong. But they have, he went through the steps of filling out the paper. He went through meetings with the Texas Workforce. They had to also do like a peer review, like ask them questions socially, mentally. And also this program has counseling too, that they provide if he needs it. And we're just waiting.
Did Christian get a job after he was released from custody?
Oh, yes. Right now he's working, he first got with Circle K. But of course, with all this, they had let him go, but he didn't stop there. He actually is now works with a veterinarian. He's been there since for a good long while now. And he helps the vet, and he loves his job because my dad was a lover of dogs and we all are lover of dogs. So he's probably right in the right place right now. He goes to work every morning. It's only down the street. He comes back home. He's in my home. He's either with our dog or he's playing games.
I'm showing you what's been marked as Defense Exhibit 8. Do you recognize this?
Yeah, that's my Poppy being happy.
Is that a picture of him at his new job?
Yes, that's where he works.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to enter into evidence Defense Exhibit 8.
Objections?
No objections.
Just for purposes of the record, defense 7.
Yes, Your Honor, I would, at this time, I'd like to admit Defense Exhibit 6 and 7 as well.
Any objections to 6 and 7?
No objections.
I would also
6, 7, and 8 are admitted.
like to tender these to the court.
Yeah.
Ms. Miyabe, how long has he been working at the vet clinic?
I want to say like maybe 6 months or longer. I mean, it could be even longer. It's been there a good while, not too long after he got out.
And where is he living now?
He lives with me in our home.
And who lives in the home with you?
Me and my husband and my son. We have an 8-year-old and our dog Alistair.
And will he continue living with you if granted community supervision?
Oh, yes. Yeah, boy's not going anywhere and he's comfortable. I'm comfortable. And I told him he can stay there as long as he, continues to go to school and he's on his feet, then.
And will you help him stay on task in both his recovery and his obligations to this board?
I haven't let up yet. Yes, I will.
And as an example, is Christian able to drive right now?
No, I've been taking him and we also lift back and forth. We probably have about $2,000 that we've used within lifts throughout the time he's been out.
How much do those lifts cost to go back?
It
and forth?
depends, 20-something dollars, $12. If he went to go get his driver's license or ID, that was another like $15, $20, and that's forward and back. So all my receipts, I'm probably at almost $2,000.
Has that been a financial strain on your family?
Yes, because I'm trying to go to school myself and I have no financial aid this year, so I'm paying it all on my own at UIW.
Ms. Miave, can you please tell the court why you believe Christian deserves community supervision?
Because I can say that for the first time in my life, I don't feel that fright at night at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, knowing that, feeling that Christian was going to be dead somewhere, to be honest with you. Now I go to sleep at peace. I know he's in the home. He calls me now. He's with our family things. He plays with the dog and my son on the jumpy and in the pool with the dog. He's back to my Chris. He's with his family. And before I didn't have none of that. I didn't sometimes know where he was. So I know.
And if you were concerned about your son, would you have been honest about that today?
Definitely, without a doubt, because I don't want him to end up, I don't want him to be 6 feet under.
I'll pass the witness, Judge.
State, any questions of this witness?
Yes, Judge. So I just want to get a little bit better idea of where y'all were living and when. So he was born in Corpus Christi, correct?
Right.
And when did you all leave Corpus Christi?
I've been here for about 6 years. And I'm a San Antonio now. I bought a house.
So you moved in about 2015?
It was my mom had came with us and she got sick here. So yes, she just never went back home. So yes.
Okay. And so he came too?
No, he didn't at that time. He was with my parents, with my dad,
Okay. So
helping to take care of him.
okay. So he stayed in Corpus Christi. with your
Right.
dad. Okay.
Right.
And did you know he was getting in trouble a lot there?
I knew a little bit here and there, but every time I'd go, it was, run about, and I had to go down and and finally, I said, you have to come. My sister lives there too. And she would tell me what was going on. And it was just a lot of back and forth until we really just got down into the gritty to find out what was happening.
Okay. And so you found out he was burglarizing vehicles, he was running from the police, he was using drugs, he was stealing from people. You found out about all of that and that he was arrested for a felony possession of a controlled substance.
Right.
Okay. And so your solution was to move him to San Antonio.
Right.
Okay. And then he got arrested several times here as well, correct?
He was back and forth with this girlfriend, and it was just a lot of, I can't even explain. It was just a lot of back and forth until finally they kind of split. And then from there, that's when a lot of things were happening with my dad. So
Does he have a child with that girlfriend?
he has no children.
Okay. And so he has a theft conviction, correct?
I believe so.
And have you watched the video of the
I've watched it. I've watched it.
How did that make you feel?
Sad because I know that's not my Christian, and I know he wasn't in his right mind.
Okay. If you had been that trooper's wife, how would you feel?
I would feel afraid too. I feel afraid for everybody, but that was not him. He was going through withdrawals.
And
He's a
did you-
completely different person now.
Well, let me ask you about that. So in his PSI, he says that he had gotten out of rehab earlier that day. Is that right?
He walked from the rehab in 20 degrees weather, 30 degrees weather. And an officer, I had already been calling all night because they had told me, and an officer was kind enough to see him in the middle of the road, in the middle of like the river, somewhere out there. Don't ask me because I don't know everywhere. I think it's Colgan or Col, something like that. But he just had his suitcase in the middle of nowhere, and he picked him up, and I asked, why didn't you, take him back or call me? But he said he didn't seem, he was just trying to help him out, that it was too cold.
And so had he been released successfully from rehab at that point, or had he walked out without completing that rehab?
He walked out. That was the weekend that we buried my dad. And on that Sunday, I brought him and checked him into the rehab on Monday. I believe it was Sunday or that Monday. And he didn't last long because of the withdrawals.
But
And that was over a year ago.
But don't they deal with those withdrawals at rehab?
Only so much can help. They will give medications and stuff like that, but he was still had to sober up and stuff. When you're in that window, it's not easy just to give somebody medication. It's not going to work just like that. That's not how things work. It has to go through a process.
Is that the first time he had been to rehab?
No,
How many times had he been to rehab before that?
this is just his second time.
That was his second time, or he's gone again?
That was the first. And then the second, 2 times.
Okay, so the time that he walked out was the first time he had been to rehab.
Yes, I believe so. And then the second time is when he went on his own.
Were you able to review the PSI?
I believe so.
Okay. Did you read the information from the gentleman whose car your son stole?
Yes, ma'am, I read that.
Okay. That he had worked really hard to buy his own car,
I
and because
understand
of
that.
your son's choices, he had to pay $6,000 out of pocket.
I understand that, yes.
Okay. And what is the plan to pay that restitution?
Whatever we need to do.
Okay. Well, you're in school, and so you don't really have any money to help him. And he's trying to go to school, and if he goes to school, he's not going to have any money, right?
Well, there's a way, and he is working now. He's been working for a good long while, and I believe that he'll be there for a while, so he'll be able to pay that.
Has he been able to save money to start paying it?
We just learned about all this, about.
You didn't know there was somebody that he had
We knew
stolen
that,
the
ma'am,
car?
but we didn't know what was the money that he lost or anything like that. We just learned that.
So has he been able to save any money?
I'm not sure. It was just what he has in his bank. So he gets a check every time, every 15th and 30th. So he's been holding that job. So I don't see that would be a problem.
All right, I pass the witness.
Any other questions?
Just brief, Your Honor. Ms. Miyabi? Ms. Slater mentioned several arrests that happened in Corpus. Do you remember what year that was?
I don't.
Would you say it was, well, let me ask you this. Has he been arrested while he was been on bond?
No,
Okay. Have you had any calls during the night about people being concerned with Christian?
no, he's always at home. He goes back to work and comes home.
Okay, and there's a possibility here today that he might be sent to prison, right?
There is.
So you might not have had the opportunity to pay that restitution to the victim if that happens, correct?
Right.
I'll pass the witness, Judge.
I have no more questions.
This witness step down. Step down.
Your Honor, at this time, Ms. Paula Lance.
Ms. Lance, please raise your hand. Your right hand, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this cause shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? You're muted.
I do.
Thank you. You may proceed, Ms. McDonald.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Lyons, can you please state your full name for the record?
I'm Paula Lance.
And how are you currently employed?
I'm a counselor at San Antonio Recovery Center.
Can you briefly describe your training and work experience?
Sure. I've been in the field of substance abuse about 10 years. I originally worked at the Haven for Hope downtown in the recovery dorms in the IHRP program. I worked there for like 5.5 years. After that, I transferred to another organization called Sober Recovery. I worked there probably for about almost 3 years. And then I've been here with SARC, San Antonio Recovery Center, for 2 years. So during that time, I've worked with hundreds, maybe I don't know, at least hundreds and hundreds of addicts and alcoholics. I've done a lot of one-on-one counseling. I do groups, just whatever clients need, you know, that I've helped them with.
And what licenses or certifications do you have?
I am licensed by the state of Texas through the State Health and Human Services to be a licensed chemical dependency counselor, and I'm just at the end of my internship.
And in your experience working with people who have an addiction, is it common for individuals to experience setbacks?
Absolutely. Absolutely it is, yes.
And have you also experienced people who are successful despite those setbacks?
Yes, yes. I'm one of those people. I can say that. Yes, ma'am.
Excellent. I'm showing you what's been marked as Defense Exhibit 9. It's a series of documents, 488 pages. I'm about to put them in the screen in just a second, okay?
Okay.
Do you recognize these documents?
Yes, I do.
What are they?
Excuse me?
What are these documents?
These are documents of the, when Christian Ramirez has been here with San Antonio Recovery Center. The different times he's been here, those are his medical records, his progress reports, group reports, group notes, everything. That's everything that we've taken, made a file of when he was in our care.
Are you a custodian of records of San Antonio Recovery Center?
I am. Yes, ma'am.
Were these medical records kept in the regular course of business?
Yes, ma'am.
Was the record made at or near the time of the event that it's recorded?
Yes, ma'am.
Were the records made by a person with knowledge of the information contained in them?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it San Antonio Recovery Center's regular practice to make these types of records?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to introduce Defense Exhibit 9 into evidence. These are medical records for Christian Ramirez. I have previously tendered these to Defense Counsel via email.
The
State's
objection.
counsel. State's counsel, no objection.
Counsel, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Any objections to defendant 9?
No, none. No objections.
Defense 9 is admitted.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to tender them to the court. Oh, there we go. Okay. Ms. Lance, can you tell me a little bit about San Antonio Recovery Center?
Yes, I will. San Antonio Recovery Center is the largest organization in San Antonio. We have 3 different facilities. And we cover all levels of care, from detox all the way up into outpatient and alumni services after that. So we have a detox unit, and we also do residential level of care. And then once they complete that, then they go into partial hospitalization level of care. Then they go into the intense outpatient level of care, and then they go into alumni aftercare after that.
How does someone get referred to your program?
A lot of ways, doctors, psychiatrists, the courts, families, loved ones, anybody, you know, they can look us up on the internet. There's a multitude of ways.
Do you remember how Christian was referred?
Offhand, I do not, and I'm looking through the records and I do not see. I know, I don't know who originally referred him. I'm sorry, but I don't know that.
Well, let me ask you this. Once someone's referred to San Antonio Recovery Center, what's the next step? Who do they see first?
So they would speak to admissions, and then they would speak to a licensed chemical dependency counselor to do an assessment to determine what stage of change they're at and what level of care that they need at that time.
And at that point, do you come up with a treatment plan for them?
At that point, they're admitted into treatment, and then once we meet together, we look over the assessment, we do another tool, we use another tool called the biopsychosocial. And after those two tools feed into each other, then it comes up with suggestions. And then, like for myself as a client, as a counselor, I would meet with my client, I would go over these suggestions, I would get their goals, and we would come up with a treatment plan together.
And are you familiar with my client, Christian Ramirez?
Yes, I am.
When did you first meet Christian?
I first saw Christian on March 21st, 2021.
What was your first impression of him?
He was, I mean, Christian has a dynamic to him that is higher than average, and he's got really abnormal, in a good way, interpersonal skills. He's just a really outgoing, wonderful person. The first time he came in, his attitude and his desires, the things he stated about himself, the way he cared about himself, right off the bat, I thought to myself, this guy is going to make it. And he did.
And can you tell me, is he diagnosed with anything?
He certainly is. Oh, yes.
Do you know what
Go ahead.
please continue.
Oh, I'm sorry. He is diagnosed with an opiate use disorder, moderate or severe, F11.20. He is diagnosed with amphetamine type substance use disorder, including methamphetamine, moderate or severe, F15.20. Cannabis use disorder, mild, F12.10. And opiate use disorder, moderate or severe, again, F11.20.
And are you familiar with Christian's medical issues?
I
Growing
am,
up.
yes, yes.
How does that play a role with someone regarding addiction and recovery?
So at a very young age, if Christian was placed on opiates, which he was undoubtedly, people that come out of surgery, they're on opiates. And so at a very young age, this gets into his system. And so as he continues to have surgeries throughout his lifetime, he continues to need to be on opiates. Well, as he grows older, what happens is that not only is the opiates taking care of the pain from the surgeries, somebody like Christian that has a physical deformity that he has and a speech impediment that he has, and has a huge sense of insecurity. But when they're on opiates, not only does the opiates take the pain away, it makes life in an entirety feel normal, because they don't feel insecure about their deformality. They don't feel insecure about that. Their speech impediment, they feel normal, like they can function. They have confidence, and that's what the opiates gives them, not just pain relief.
I want to turn your attention to page 202 of the medical records.
Okay.
Was this the biopsychosocial assessment that you were referring to earlier?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Can you please read out what substances that my client reported in his alcohol and drug use history?
Opioids, 10 to 20, 10 milligram Norcos per day, purchased off the streets. Methamphetamine, 1 gram a day, he got from a dealer. Cannabis, about 3 times a month, a half a gram, got off the streets. And then, right, that's current. That's current. So, yeah.
And on this biopsychosocial, it lists that the age of first use for opioids was 3 years old, right?
That's correct.
And just to be clear, all of these were reported back in 2020.
Yes.
Is it common for people who are dealing with maybe an addiction to opioids or painkillers to turn to other narcotics?
Absolutely. Absolutely it is. I don't know. Even if Christian was not genetically predispositioned to be an addict, because of his medical treatments growing up, he would automatically disposition himself to do that. And so oftentimes with addicts, when they can't get the drug that they want, they'll do another drug. And no matter what their intent was before they did that drug, it always leads them back to their main drug of choice, which in his case, it is opioids, and it always has been.
Now I'd like to turn your attention to page 234 of the medical records. Can you
Okay.
please tell the court what this is?
This is a treatment plan for Christian Ramirez when he was in treatment.
Okay, and what factors do you consider when you create a plan like this for a client?
The factors that we consider are the things, his childhood, things he struggles with growing up. It comes into play, family relationships, communication, isolation, impulsivity, all those kinds of things, manipulation, all of those things come into play into what goes into a treatment plan. What are the areas that they need to work on to not be that person anymore?
Do you come up with goals for particular clients on what you want them to work on?
The clients state the goals themselves.
What goals did Christian state? Let's cover just a few of them, but can you tell me the first goal that he stated?
To live drug-free.
And what objectives did you use at San Antonio Recovery Center to help him with this goal?
He went through several things. Probably one of the most important things that he did was he completed a packet called a relapse autopsy packet. And what a relapse autopsy is it goes through step by step of any relapse that you've had, and it digs deep within your brain, and you get to see why you made those decisions and what was the consequence of all of that. And that was a one main thing that he did. He also starts to begin 12-step work. Okay. He also, he'll come up with things, obstacles that he will continue to face if he continues in his addiction, or things that are possible, positive effects of him staying sober. There's a lot of one-on-one counseling. He also struggled with grief. That's another thing that's on here, unresolved grief, working through the stages of grief. This thing was very tough for him. That was the thing that he really struggled with.
Okay, and I kind of want to highlight some of those strategies and interventions. Can you tell the court what a wellness group is?
A wellness group is a group when we meet together, and it's not just about mental wellness or physical health or anything like that. It's more of like a trifecta of spiritual, mental, and physical. And so when the clients get together for a wellness group, they often do something that supports the health and wellness of all three of those things. Like they might do yoga, they might meditate, you know, and then they might have some kind of a sharing group or do some kind of activity that, you know, promotes some kind of learning that'll be beneficial in the future for their own wellness.
And would that objective help Christian's goal of gaining peers in recovery?
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, that was a specific objective on his treatment plan, is to build a network of sober peers in recovery.
And what type of things do clients at your facility learn during recovery maintenance?
They learn different things such as like proper communication. They learn about negative self-talk and how to change that into something else. They learn about all of the incorrect thinking. There's a lot of thinking errors that we use, addicts and alcoholics use every day. They learn about those. They learn about the drugs and the damages itself it does. They learn to open up and share about themselves, you know, to other people, and they benefit by hearing what other people share about themselves, and they get to realize, no, I'm not by myself. I'm not the only one who feels like this. There are so many different things that they learn in here. They learn, you know, how to make amends, how to get back in good with their family. They have family sessions in here. There's just a wealth of information that they learn to not be that person anymore.
And along with these groups, did you also work with Christian one-on-one?
I did.
How often did he have individual sessions?
Once a week.
What did you work with? What are the purpose of those sessions?
The purpose of those sessions is to get the client to open up and to talk about the things that bother them. Most often, the number one reason that people use drugs or drink alcohol is to mask mental health symptoms. And so, which are usually depression and anxiety, grief being one of those things. A Christian at this point in his life only knows how to feel normal using opiates. And so he wants to live without that, and that's what he's there for. And so we do cognitive behavioral therapy, rational and motive behavioral therapy, different things to get the client to look at the things that they've done, do something different.
How was Christian's attitude during these sessions with you?
Amazing. He couldn't learn enough. He couldn't absorb enough. His interpersonal skills were so great that other clients would approach him, you know, because they felt comfortable with him, because he would engage them. He's just warm and welcoming to everybody that he comes across. You can't not like him. I mean, you can't, you know.
And was this the same attitude he had during group sessions?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. Christian always spoke up. I'm sorry. And in group, if there was dead space when no one was talking, he would close that gap and he would share, and the group would kind of come back to life.
And would that encouragement from Christian help others in that group?
Without a doubt, yes. He opened up and they opened up. In fact, a lot of the things that Christian opened up about his insecurity growing up with his speech impediment and with his deformity, you know, it caused a lot of other clients to feel free to speak about things that they went through, even if it wasn't that. The total lack of security that he had growing up, it allowed a lot of other people to speak that of themselves, and they normally wouldn't have felt comfortable to do that unless he would have spoken like that.
Would you describe him as a leader?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
And how long was Christian in inpatient treatment at San Antonio Recovery Center?
So the first time that he came in on 11/27, which was apparently right before that accident, he was there for just those 3 days. And then when he came back in, it looks like he came back in March, and he continued inpatient treatment all the way up until the He was there for a month, yeah, in 2018. And it looks like in 2021, it looks like he was there for probably almost 2 months.
Can you describe a day in the life of someone in inpatient treatment at your facility?
Sure. When they wake up, they'd probably get a coffee or smoke a cigarette or whatever, and then they go to goals and meditation. A lot of times they meditate during this time. They'll state what their long-term goal is, what their short-term goal is, and what is the goal they're going to accomplish this day, this very day. Before we go to bed, I'm going to do this. They talk about their feelings. They open up about things they feel about what is happening within the facility. They get to share, they get to vent. This is a very important time. And so after goals and meditation, after that, they would probably go to breakfast, and then they would start regular programming at there's a recovery maintenance group at 9 a.m. Then they would go into process group from 10:30 until noon. And then in process group, they get to process their feelings and speak openly and freely about whatever they would like. And after lunch, they would do chores. And after that, they would go to another recovery maintenance group. After that, they would start afternoon programming at 3 o'clock to 4:30, which is chemical dependency education. And then at 4:30, that would be over, and then dinner would be at 5. And then after dinner, they would do chores, and then they would have an evening meeting, 10-step meeting, a 12-step meeting from like 7 to 8:15 at night.
So for almost 2 months, Christian was in intensive inpatient, which consisted of groups throughout his entire day.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and how long was Christian in outpatient treatment?
Christian was in outpatient treatment, not very long. And I can explain that. The reason is because as a counselor, I have to send utilization review reports to his insurance company and explain to them what he lacks and why he still needs to be in treatment. On April the 5th, April 23rd, when I sent a report into his insurance company, I literally had nothing I could put on there in truth, without lying, that he still needed to work on. Anything that he lacked, anything that he could improve on, I had absolutely nothing to put in there. And that day they said, that's it. He's out of treatment. We're going to kick him. And they did.
So his insurance eligibility affected the length of time that he spent in your program.
I'm sorry, could you rephrase that?
He was no longer covered through his insurance.
Right. Yes.
And had to leave your program.
Absolutely. He didn't have a choice, right?
And that was because he was doing so well.
Exactly. So well. I probably never had a more successful client in the amount of time that he was there. I never had a more eager client. I wish there were more people like Christian.
Okay, and how long, what does outpatient treatment look like? Is it as intensive as inpatient?
Yes, it's called intensive outpatient. And so what it is partial hospitalization treatment is from 9 a.m. to 2:30 in the afternoon, Monday through Friday for 18 sessions. And then after that, there's 18 sessions of intensive outpatient, which is 3 hours a day, 3 days a week, Monday through Friday. And they would go in there and they would have intense process groups and chemical dependency education group.
And did Christian attend all of these sessions?
Yes, he did until they wouldn't allow him to anymore.
Was he actively engaged in these sessions?
Absolutely. Probably more than anybody there.
Ms. Lance, are you familiar with the stages of change?
I am, yes.
Can you briefly describe that for the court?
Sure, I sure can. Stage one is pre-contemplation stage of change. And this is somebody that is actively using and doesn't see that they have a problem. They have no time in sobriety whatsoever, nor do they see the need for sobriety. This is somebody that is out in the middle of their mess, using every single day And they don't think it's a big deal whether they go to treatment or not. They don't even see it as a necessity. That's stage 1, pre-contemplation. Stage 2, contemplation. People become aware of personal consequences of their addiction and they spend time thinking about it. In this stage, the addicted person may be open to some discussion about the consequences of their addiction. However, they're going to remain ambivalent toward the concept in general. Stage 3 is preparation. And during the preparation stage of change, people have made a commitment to make a change. Clients will unconsciously attempt sometimes to skip this stage and go directly into taking action. But during this stage, this is when the client gets prepared, okay? They get empowered to be able to go into stage 4, action stage of change. An action stage of change, people know they have the ability to change and they're actively involved in staying sober. And then finally, we have stage 5, which is the maintenance stage of change. In maintenance stage of change, the client learns to successfully avoid triggers and other temptations that would lead back to active addiction. People in this stage tend to remind themselves of their progress and build community supports that reinforce their recovery goals. To ensure ongoing recovery, they stay active in the recovery community and in their individual chosen recovery circle. This is somebody that stays sober and they do what they need to do to stay sober long term, which is the stage he is currently in. If I understand right, that he's been sober since he left and hasn't got any positive urinalysis. He's living at home and working. Christian is in the maintenance stage of recovery.
After working with Christian for the time that you did, do you believe that he's gained the tools that he needs to cope and continue on this successful path?
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have anything else to say about Christian that the judge needs to hear when considering his sentence?
I would say this. Rarely does it happen that a client comes through our organization that even the owner of the organization takes note of and the staff themselves, and they say, this person would be a great employee here someday. And that person was Christian Ramirez. He was positive. Other people that came in, nobody came in that had the deformity that he had or the speech impediment that he had. Yet he was more positive and more engaging than anybody else that was there. No one had the trials and the things that he had to overcome, but yet nobody had the drive and the positivity that Christian did. He's just a remarkable and amazing young man. Not only that, he gave his life to Jesus Christ, and I know that he is very strong in his faith. I know that he walks every single day trusting the Lord in every single thing that he does. That's all I could add about Christian. He's amazing.
House witness, Judge.
Any questions of this witness state?
Yes, Judge. So on page 156 of the medical records, I'm trying to get back to it. Hang on.
What does it say on that? Now that is a particular page I don't have in front of me. I can
Okay.
look it up. What does it say on there?
So it says nursing note for Christian Ramirez, date 11/30/2020.
Okay. Yes,
So on
ma'am.
this is when he was inpatient in detox, correct?
That's correct.
And you don't just, when someone's in detox, you don't just throw them into a room and let them sweat it out, right? Like you give them medicine to help them detox, correct?
Yeah, we do give them medicine to help them detox. That's correct. Right.
Okay. And if someone is experiencing like really bad effects, you guys are you have medications, you have the ability to deal with those things, right?
We do, but in some cases, such as Christian, because of his history with opiates, it would be very, very difficult to completely satisfy probably what he's normally used to feeling if he was on Norco, for example, to that degree every day for a long time. And not only that, in withdrawal, people make decisions that are completely irresponsible, which is more than likely what happened that day with the trooper. I don't know. I wasn't there, but people want to leave out of detox all the time. And it's not because they're not medicated enough. People want to leave out of detox because they're miserable, you know, and just because you're medicated doesn't mean that you're not miserable. So, you know, that's completely normal.
And so it says on there that he was frustrated because he was not getting what he wanted. He was sneaking phone calls over the weekend before his 72 hours. He's not to use his phone until Thursday. Text even said client told him he was going to hang himself in the back porch with his belt. They told him that if he left, they were going to call the police, and he decided to leave anyway.
Right. That's what we do. When someone leaves the facility out here, we call the police to stop them and do a wellness check. And that's exactly what happened. So
Okay.
yeah, that's all of that is completely normal. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so you mentioned earlier that he is given urinalysis. He's tested to see if he's still using. Is that done by you or through pretrial?
I don't, when he's our facility, we make sure that he's still clean all the way in inpatient and all the way through outpatient. We make sure that he is not using, and he never did. He never gave a positive UA except for the UA he came in to detox at.
Okay. And so when was the last time that you saw him?
The last time that I saw him was on April the 23rd, 2021.
Okay. And at that point you said there's nothing more that we can do. He's not that he's cured, because you're never cured from addiction, right?
Never,
But
right.
but he doesn't need any further treatment at this time.
Yeah, I didn't say that he needed, I would have loved for him to stay, but the insurance is like, he's doing well enough, we're not going to pay for this anymore. That's
Okay.
what happened. Yeah. And back to
Pretty
the
common, right?
urinalysis. So I guess the urinalysis that whatever the court's been giving him since that time, or he's never had a positive urinalysis, so I can see.
Okay. I pass the witness.
I just have one brief question, Judge.
Go ahead.
May I use the medical records briefly?
Yeah.
Ms. Lance, the prosecutor brought up a date of 11/30/2020.
Mhm.
I'm going to ask you about, I'm going to show you a picture on these medical records, and I hope you can see it. I will do my best. Put it on the screen. The set of, well, let me begin by asking you this. The set of medical records that you gave me, that included all of his admissions to your facility, correct?
That's correct, yes.
See this on the screen?
I can see it, but it's very difficult for me to read.
What page are you on, Christine? Can you tell us?
I'm on page
Oh,
168.
What'd you say? I'm
pre-admission
sorry.
screening. Okay,
Can you read the date on that, Ms. Lance?
I cannot, unfortunately, and I'm sorry about that. I don't know how to
Yeah.
make the box
What
bigger.
page are you on, Christine, so we can look them up?
Page 168.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm looking at a pre-admission screening for Christian, and that's about halfway through these records. This is the second time that he was admitted to the facility, correct?
Correct.
And that date, this pre-admission screening would have happened right before he was admitted, correct?
Yes, or the day of, yeah.
And this is dated March 21st, 2021.
Yes, ma'am.
So the date that Ms. Flater mentioned to you was not during this second successful discharge at your facility.
No, absolutely not. That's when he left against medical advice in the middle of detox. You know, we're not going to medicate somebody so that they feel high. We're going to medicate them so they don't go through withdrawal. And there's a big difference. And most addicts want to leave detox right at this point.
Any other questions of this witness?
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear. No, no judge.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Lance.
Thank you.
Witnesses? Okay, he can testify from there. You can say, yeah, you can testify from there. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this cause shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? You can take your mask off. I need you to speak into that small square mic, please. Go ahead,
Judge,
Ms.
can the cart be turned so that we all can see him?
Oh, yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
Christian, can you please state your full name for the record?
Christian Aaron Ramirez.
And how are you currently employed?
Hang on, Christine, hang on. Nick, can we use this witness mic for Christine and let the defendant use the small square mic?
Your Honor, and am I using?
You're using that.
Thank you. May I proceed, Judge?
Go ahead.
Kristen, how are you currently employed?
I'm employed at Leon Valley Veterinary Hospital
And how long have you been working there?
since I believe the summertime of this past year.
Do you enjoy working there?
It's probably the greatest job, in my opinion, that I've ever had. It's something I love to do, correct?
Is that something that you're considering as a career choice?
If I'm not able to do my LCDC or psychology counseling, this is my number 2 option.
Why do you want to go into counseling?
Because I know what it's like to have an addiction, have grief, disabilities, depression, anxiety, and make choices that aren't in your own, mindset to do, that you wouldn't normally do, and be out of your characteristics. And I want to help people before they get to that point, before they end up in the position I am in today.
And because of that, did you try enrolling in school while on bond?
Yes, ma'am, I have.
Your mom briefly talked about that, but can you tell me your experience with that?
Yes, actually, Ms. Paula Lance referred me over to, forgive me, I can't remember the name of the school, but it's an LCDC school that I wanted to get into and to do my career choice. And I met with the owner there, a teacher over there, and we had a Zoom meeting and everything like that. And he told me the process, what I need to do, how much it would cost, all that good stuff. And that's where I got in touch with the Texas workforce, because I was also referred to talk to them, because they would be willing to help people who actually went through addiction and are now doing that LCDC. So it kind of came together in a good way. But at this moment, my I would say advisor at the Texas workforce told me we kind of have to wait it out until after this trial, because if I get convicted and it's on my record, that's something I will not be able to do.
So you're on pause as far as school at the moment.
Correct.
Do you intend to continue pursuing a higher education should you be placed on community supervision?
Most definitely.
Before working at the vet clinic, did you have another job?
I was employed at Circle K.
What happened with that job?
So I was there about a month, I would say. And when I had my interview, I told my employer at Circle K that, this is what I'm going through right now as far as court, because, the background check and all that good stuff, and drug test. So I did all that. And I told her, this is what I'm going to have on my record. And she said, okay, she kept me. And as far as, legality, I'm not sure how this goes, but she let me work for almost a month because how great she saw in me of working for her and the hard work that I did because she didn't put in my background report until almost a month after, which finally, and we both knew it when she did that they would have to let me go. So they eventually did. And, she's pretty heartbroken. We got really close during that time for just meeting each other. And, she wrote me, she could barely even tell me goodbye. She wrote me a little letter on the keyboard when I last clocked out to that job.
Okay, so it looks like you left on pretty good terms with your last
Oh,
employer.
yes, ma'am.
How's your relationship with your employer now at the vet clinic?
It's amazing. I get along with the doctor there very well. All my employees, we're very close. I'm starting out just as a receptionist, and I've never had this type of job before. I've done all kinds of work, but specifically this. But he gave me a chance, and now I'm cross training into technician work to where I'm giving the dogs and cats their shots, their vaccinations, helping with the surgeries, all that good stuff, and it's
So
very
it's-
admirable.
So it sounds like you rose pretty quickly in that position.
I would say so.
Is there plenty of opportunity to grow at that clinic?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Now, Christian, I know that we have a lot of positive things going on right now, but I'm gonna ask you about some difficult times in your life, okay?
That's fun.
What was it like growing up and constantly having to have these surgeries?
It was annoying, I guess, to say the least. It wasn't, my preference to be doing that, but I had no choice. It wasn't. I would miss a lot of school growing up because of all my surgeries. Sometimes I'd be out for a week at a time. Because I needed to have the surgery, be in the hospital for a couple of days, and then be home for a couple of days. And it affected. I would go to school with let's say like a patch on my wherever they took scar tissue from, and random my voice would be changing up all the time because they were trying to close certain. I have what you call a hole in the root of my mouth that we were trying to close for years, the longest time, and I had doctors who messed up on the surgery and made two of them and bigger. So it just kept going back and forth, and it didn't let me do certain things that I wanted to do. Like I was never supposed to play sports. I ended up going. I was in boxing for almost 7 years.
Wow.
And I remember before every physical, the doctor would ask me, because I have the scar on my neck, he'd be like, are you good? And I would tell him, yeah, I'm ready to go. And so.
So it sounds, it definitely affected your school life. How did it affect your ability to have friendships and form relationships with your peers?
Well, naturally it came with a lot of getting picked on. So, and that happened throughout, even till now, when some people don't understand me. And I've had, even teachers think I'm messing around. And then they told me stop doing that. What are you doing? It's my regular voice. And
Would you say that this affected your self-esteem growing up?
Yeah, it still does sometimes, but I've learned how to cope with it, and I've learned ways to work around it. So, but it definitely has.
Do you remember when you were first put on medication to manage your pain?
I don't remember when. I just know I was.
When did you realize that the medications may have become a problem for you?
Shortly, I believe in going into high school, and I noticed when I didn't have them, I would start to feel, pain in my chest and start to have these withdrawals that I didn't know were withdrawals at the time. And so me not knowingly, I would go out and get some more and feel better, but I didn't realize I had, you know, per se, an addiction at that time.
When did you first begin treatment with San Antonio Recovery Center?
So I did go in 2018, and I knew I had a problem, and I went for a month, and I was sober for around 8 to 9 months, and then but let's say this, and during that time, I never made an effort to do better. I just did the same things I would always do, you know, and so it wasn't like now where I'm doing the most to be a better person. So I ended up doing that, and then I relapsed, and of course that lasted all the way until November of 2020, or December 1st of 2020.
And we've already told the court what outpatient and inpatient treatment looks like at that facility, but can you tell me what you took away from those sessions?
I took away a lot of learning and a lot of progress and tools and coping mechanisms that I use till this day. And I even put a review on Google for SARC because I'm just extremely grateful for everything that they helped me with, and you know, made me believe that I am a better person than what my actions say.
Now, I'm showing you what's been marked as defense exhibit 10.
We can't hear
Judge,
you, Christine.
I can't hear.
Oh,
Oh, well, you might have to. Do you recognize this?
yes, ma'am, I do.
What is it?
That's my certificate of affirmation from San Antonio Recovery Center.
How do you feel when you see this document?
Proud.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to enter defense exhibit 10 into evidence.
Sit down for state, or sorry, state has no objection.
Defense 10 is admitted.
Okay, and besides this last successful discharge, do you know how many times you've received services from San Antonio Recovery Center?
In total, 3, I believe.
On those previous occasions, would you say that you were ready to change?
On this most recent one, yes. What were you?
Compared to the previous admissions that you had?
That's definitely correct.
And we both know that the path to recovery is not a linear road. So what can you tell this court to assure the judge that this time it's different?
Well, compared to the last time that I went to rehab and everything, I never truly did 12 steps or actually looked at myself as rehabilitating. And compared to now, I'm making changes to my life, my environment, my peers, my goals, and everything is in line to what I want to do. And it's almost like I felt this calling from what happened on December 1st and throughout until now. And now I feel like I've never had this fire and desire in me that I've never had before to go and help people and follow my career choice and help the people that struggle with this disease and get in trouble and go through things that, you know, it's not hard for anyone. You know, if anyone were to go through it, it's just not easy, but there is ways you can get out of it. And I believe I've found my calling, and I'm praying that I can do that.
And Christian, when was the last time you used narcotics?
The wherever date it says I went to rehab November 27th, I guess.
November of 2020?
Yes,
And how are you feeling now that you're clean?
I feel great. I'm past to where I haven't even had a craving or any type of, trigger. I've just been, living calmly and making the best decisions for me every day.
Okay, and you know why we're here today, right?
I do.
What do you have to say about your actions on December 1st of 2020?
I do have remorse, and I know what I did, and it's not something, it's out of my characteristics. I would have never thought of ever doing that in a million years. But there I was. I'm truly sorry for anyone who would have got hurt or did get hurt, and I'm just I can't tell you how much it weighs on my conscience that
And you wrote a letter to Trooper Garza, right?
I did.
Can you read that letter to the court?
I can.
State, do you have a copy of the letter he wrote the trooper?
Yes.
Trooper Garza, I want to start off by saying I am extremely apologetic towards my actions. It was completely out of my character. I was not in the right mindset. The month before you met me, I had lost the person who raised me, my grandfather. It was very unexpected. I did not take it well. Shortly after, my best friend committed suicide. I was deep in sorrow and depression during my life. So during my life, I've had around 20 surgeries for my cleft palate. I was in constant pain, which led me to develop some really unhealthy habits. I was not me. I was lost and going crazy, if you will. I'm 26 years old. I truly pride in being a productive member of society. I've always had a job. I graduated high school and even some college under my belt. I'm hoping you can forgive me and the struggle I caused to the public that day. Since you last saw me, I did some months of time in Bexar County Jail. I got out March of this year, which was 21. I spent 108 days in jail. When I got out, I went to rehab voluntarily at San Antonio Recovery Center. I completed the inpatient program as well as the aftercare. I finished my outpatient program as well. I work at a veterinary hospital full-time, and I'm trying to go back to school from psychology to get my LCDC license. I want to help people who are in the position I once was, so I can try my best to get them out of it before they end up where I am today, facing severe consequences in the court of law. To do that, I cannot have an assault charge on my record, and would be so grateful if you saw that even though I made a mistake, I am trying to be a better person than I once was. I am good people. I try to make the right decisions every day, and thank God that I am still here. My goal in life is to help people like some have helped me. I know what it's like to hit rock bottom and want to save as many people as I can. I can't save the world, but I can do my part. I've been drug-free for quite some time now, and I stay out of trouble. Please understand, I am truly sorry. Sincerely, Christian Ramirez.
And do you understand that if you're placed on deferred adjudication, you'll be required to comply with all of your probation conditions?
Yes, ma'am, I understand that.
And do you understand that you'd be responsible for paying restitution for the damage to the vehicle that you took out of that parking lot?
I understand that. That's fine.
And are you willing to pay that restitution?
Yes, most definitely.
Are you confident that you can continue on this positive path and remain sober?
I am more than confident. Yes, ma'am.
One last question, Christian. Can you please tell the court why you deserve to be placed on deferred adjudication?
Yes, ma'am, I can. Your Honor, I'm like I said before, I've never pictured myself doing these types of actions. Any consequences I will face, but I've never had what I've had today, which is the desire to be good. Last time, all the other times I've gotten in trouble or went to rehab, I never came out and thought to do things that I'm doing now. I really want to progress my life, and going to prison will end this amazing job that I have, will end my school, and I'll have to start my life all over again within whatever time it is. I'm deeply sorry, and I hope you can understand that people do make mistakes, and I know this is a crazy one, but I am a good person, and I can do better for the rest of my life.
Pass the witness, Judge.
Any questions of this witness?
Yes, Judge. Your counselor said that you gave your life to Jesus. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
When did that happen?
I would say from being in jail to going into rehab, but I've always been a Catholic my whole life.
Okay, was there a moment where you realized you were a sinner and that you needed to give your life to Jesus?
I don't understand the question.
Judge, I'm gonna object. I don't believe that's an appropriate question.
Overruled.
Can you rephrase that, please?
Okay, was there a moment when you realized that you needed Jesus in your life?
I think I've always had that moment because I believe I've always needed him.
I want to kind of walk through a few things. So in your criminal history, I guess your first arrest was for burglary of a motor vehicle. Is that right?
I believe so.
And you were like pretty young, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You're 25 now,
I'm 26.
26 now. So you would have probably been like 18, 19 at that time.
I believe so.
Okay. And how many cars did you break into?
I can't recall.
Were you on drugs then?
Yes, ma'am.
What were you using?
Hydrocodones.
Where were you getting them?
Off the street.
And you got arrested several times. So it looks like B&B and evading arrest. So you ran from the police at the same time you were burglarizing cars. And then you got arrested again for possession of a controlled substance, 324 of 16. So you were arrested and you had drugs. And then 710 of 16, you were arrested for stealing. What were you stealing? Do you remember?
Maybe shoplifting.
Okay. And then another burglary of a motor vehicle and then another evading arrest, running from the police. And then you got arrested for a felony possession of a controlled substance, 1 to 4 grams, out of, I believe that was Nueces County also, on March 24th, 2016. What drugs did you have then?
I'm not sure. Those charges were all dismissed because they were not mine.
Oh, the drugs were not yours?
Yes, ma'am. That's why the charges were dismissed.
Okay. What about in Bexar County when you got arrested with drugs? Those weren't yours either?
I didn't get arrested in Bexar County for drugs.
Oh, okay. But you got arrested in Bexar County for theft, right?
Yes.
What were you doing then?
That was the shoplifting.
Oh, okay. And why were you shoplifting?
To sell them to buy hydrocodones.
So you stole this vehicle from a convenience store parking lot, right?
Correct.
Walk us through what you were thinking and what were you doing? Were you high at that time?
No, ma'am. I was withdrawing, which is, you can make the same decision. All the decisions I've made and that addicts make is from withdrawing. It's when you're on a drug, you're pretty much okay. You feel like how, I'm not sure how Miss Paula Lamb said it, but it's different. And when you're withdrawing, you go and you do the things that you feel the need to do to get more.
Okay. But you remember it, right?
Briefly.
Briefly or a little bit?
You asked me, I remember my mindset. I remember it briefly.
Tell us about it.
I remember going in to the store where I called my mother, and I called her from the store phone because I didn't have a phone at the time, it was off. And she told me, of course, to go back to rehab. And I hung up, and after that, for whatever reason, I just saw a car on and I took off.
Okay. Did you see the guy who it belonged to?
No, ma'am.
So you just saw the car and you decided to get in it and take off.
Correct.
How long after you stole the car did you see the trooper?
I'm not sure the time frame, but I saw him after I made a turn around 90, I believe.
Tell us about that. What did you think when you first saw him?
I thought, oh man, what am I gonna do? And I kind of just kept going. I mean, I was scared.
You were scared
Correct.
because you didn't want to get in trouble, right?
Correct.
You didn't want to get caught.
Correct. And also I was withdrawing.
And so you are going, and it's the middle of the day, right?
It's around noontime.
And there's a lot of cars on the highway, right?
There were cars on the highway. Yes, ma'am.
Have you watched the video?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you see all of the times where you almost struck other people's cars?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you see all of the times where there were people on bicycles that you could have lost control and killed?
I did not see those. No, ma'am.
Did you see the trooper's car when you struck it intentionally?
I did not see his car, and that's why I did not strike his vehicle intentionally. I was trying to move away.
I have no more questions for this individual judge, this defendant.
No more questions, Your Honor, just argument.
Okay. Do you both sides rest?
Yes, Judge?
Defense rest, Judge.
Okay, so just before we go any further, I have states 2 that was admitted and then defendants 1 through 10 that was admitted, correct?
Yes, Your Honor. I have exhibit 10 if the court would like it.
I'll need them when you're done. And just so you know, I'm not going to make a decision today because I wasn't anticipating having to read 488 pages. So I will take your arguments, or if you want, you can wait until next week. It's up to you.
Judge, I would prefer to wait till next week. I also wanted to offer States Exhibit 3, the PSI report, and States Exhibit 4, the TAP evaluation.
No objection, Judge.
States 3 and 4 are admitted. So you would prefer to wait until next week?
Yes.
All right. You want to wait till next week?
Yes, Your Honor.
It'll be next Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Please appear in person. That's January 20th. Yes, 9:30 in the morning.
May my client and I be excused, Judge.
Yes, you're excused. Christine, do you mind giving me some state stickers from David's desk? So I can put all his exhibits